I'm going to be asking Dakota to back through the gate,
Dakota,
and
back.
on the round pen it's got like a little bar that can kind of that she can back over and kind of feel with her hind legs and maneuver a little bit better. And then I'm going to back her over a pole. Since she's been struggling backing down the horse trailer, I wanted to do something a little bit easier for her so it's not that huge step that's on my horse trailer, um, and get her feeling more confident about obstacles that she has to go back over or go forward over with her hind legs. So she's not the most graceful, like you've seen her go over ground poles and stuff. She'll just kind of hit it with her hind legs. So I want to work on this and just kind of prepare her for the trailer a little bit more. So I'm just going to ask her to back up here with my target, try and get her as straight as possible, like scoot her over here. She's thinking more about
Back.
eating the grass here. I'll just ask her to lift her head and back up. And then there, when she takes it a couple good steps back, I'll click and reinforce her. I'm just going to get her into position and then see if she can go over this little bar here. And she really drags her hind feet, so there I'm clicking as that one hind foot goes over, and then she went ahead and took that extra step. But I want to definitely click and reinforce anything where her hind feet are picking up
Girl.
versus dragging, because she really drags those hind feet a lot. And just kind of by clicking those, I can reward her for specifically for picking up those hind feet, because that's definitely something she needs to work on. And then hopefully once she gets more confident with this, the trailer won't be as scary for her. So again, click her for just a couple steps. I've just turned around. We're going to go do the same thing going the other way. We'll let her chew on that a little bit, and then I'll ask again here with my target, and I'm also using my keyword, which is just back. She's getting a little stuck here. I should probably bring my target up. Oh, she's confused. So I'll help her out here with the lead rope. And there you can see, like, I helped with the lead rope, but I didn't have like any pressure on the lead rope. The lead rope was still slack. Um, she was just a little confused on what I wanted her to do. So there she took a step back with just the target. I'll reinforce that. And she's a little hesitant too here. This is kind of a
Good
scary thing for her because her feet
girl.
kind
Very
of came right up to that bar, and then she didn't really want to step over it. Once she gets one foot over it, she's a lot more confident and she can just back over it. But when she gets up there, she gets really stuck, and that's what happens in the horse trailer. It's just much worse.
Good
And
girl.
she's totally fine with the front feet. So that's like a tiny version of what happens to her in the horse trailer. So she just gets up to the edge and then is like, oh, I can't do it. So, and I know it's just a scary thing for her. Like, I know she's not trying to be bad or anything like that. That is a huge step on my trailer. So I'm trying to just build her confidence, make sure she's okay with the whole experience of just going over obstacles.
Good. Back.
A couple good steps back, and she's lining up a little bit easier here now so that she understands what it is that I want. Good, and click her for backing up. She seems to get it a little bit better this way because the ground is more even with that pole on this side versus when she's turned around the other way and she's inside the round pen backing out. It's more of an uphill, and so she gets a little bit more stuck there, like she did last time. So I think she'll be a bit more confident this time since she's already gone over it. There, yeah, she's
Good.
trying a little bit harder this time too. Like I think she understands what it is that I'm trying to do. She knows she can go over it. So because they'll kind of wiggle around or go forward if they're feeling
Back.
like she just can't do it, and she does that in the trailer. They're just gonna get real close to it, and again reinforcing her as her hind feet are up off the ground. If they're coming off the ground, like right now, like she does drag her feet backing up, so once they're just kind of moving, I'll click and reinforce that.
Good
That looks a lot
girl.
better. So she was a lot calmer about it. Obviously, she didn't really lift them and pick them up at all,
Good
but she
girl.
was more
Back.
relaxed about moving them up over the pole itself.
There you go.
And I'm not too worried about doing the front feet. I'm more concerned about those hinds. So now I'm going to work with the ground pole. I just have a PVC pole here from my jumps, and I just kind of let her go in the round pen here. And I'm going to try to do this at liberty and see if she can just follow the target. Not a big deal. I can do it on the halter too. Ask her to go back. There we go. Very nice. She's trying really hard there. A decent backup. I'm just getting her pretty close to the pole here. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's obviously a lot bigger and it kind of rolls a little bit. What I should have done though is push it. There's like those little bottoms of the panels. It's like a little stand kind of. I should have put the pole in there so it didn't roll and kind of lean up against the panel. So that like there, she's feeling that pole against her hind legs, and she's like, oh, too scary, I cannot do it. Like it's kind of moving, and it kind of makes a little bit of a sound. So I should push that over. I do that later on. I just didn't think about it this time. So I was gonna help her out here and go ahead and clip the lead rope on. Like I'm not gonna force her to do anything, but I'm just gonna help her with this. I'll just take her over first. So I'm just saying it's just the same thing as we did before. Just so she's used to it. She can pick her feet up going this way, and then hopefully that'll help her out with backing up. And then I've already stopped her to where she can just take the next step is just right over it. So I don't really have to line her up as much as I did at Liberty. Just where from where she was positioned, and now she's already taken that one step over. So that's really good. And she kind of has that other foot just kind of rested in front of it.
Good girl.
And she's trying to go over it, and it's kind of rolling a little bit. Totally fine with that. There, she kind of really has to pick it up for her. I don't know, that's not a lot, but she has to pick it up versus sliding it just against the ground. So that's another thing for her that can be worrying. So the ground pole definitely helps. And I do have other poles, like I have some Cavaletti and stuff where they're wood and they're more solid, and we can work on those later on. But I should have made this where it was stationary and wasn't moving. That would have helped. Because we could have it roll a little bit later on when she was more confident with it, but right now she just wasn't. Then I'll ask her to go forward. Very nice. And I'm clicking while she's got that one of the hind legs, whichever one, up over that pole. So I really want her to know it's lifting that hind leg that I want. So I can ask her to back up, and we got our pole rolling away because I didn't secure it. Especially with her dragging those hind feet. There we go. Now I've got it. I think I've got it in the little hole underneath the panel. Oh, maybe not. Um, but like she's trying here. It's just that I haven't set her up correctly. So I'm just reinforcing her for backing up. It's not a big deal. She always backs up with her. There we go. I finally figured it out. Put it in the little stand thing. Um, so she's trying. It's not her. It's just I didn't set it up well enough for her. Still gonna move a little bit. There we go. And now she's lifting up and over. Perfect. So that's really what I was looking for, is that lifting of the foot up over that pole. I'm gonna walk her forward over it, and then she's a lot more careful there. That was really good. So I'm just gonna give her some treats on the mat here and give her a quick little break. I'm just gonna bring her back here and get her lined up here. Just gonna show her with the target. There we go. Very nice. Her back up. Perfect. So she's already in position and backing up willingly, so that looks really good. Again, this is like her first session, so I'm just gonna, she didn't even get to the pole yet, but since she was in the right spot, she was listening really well and trying hard, I'll reinforce her there. She's kind of going off to the side there. I want to watch that so she's not going off to, I guess, the left side there and trying to get around the pole, because I know that's easier, but I want her to try and get um, those hind feet over it. So she kind of had that left hind over it. Again, there I fed her like behind so that she'd have to back up to go get the food. And then I'm just going to position her a little bit closer to the middle here, which was again my fault for putting her too far away, because the pole's going to move more at the end, and then she's just going to go off to the side. So even here, like I'm trying to feed her back to where she has to follow the food, and she's still not quite getting it. I need to get her a little bit closer to the fence. And your horse might be a little bit claustrophobic if they're close to the fence as well. So that's something to think about. I'm just going to go ahead and feed her back and for like in position. So not even using the target here, just kind of asking her to go back to get that food. And she's trying. There we go. I've got one foot there. There's the other. So that worked too. Don't always have to use the target. You can use the lead rope, or just feeding her back there. Get the pole situated. And obviously Dakota's a really quiet horse. I wouldn't have just moved it if it wasn't one of my Mustangs. There. So she picked her feet up over that pole, and then get her back into position here. And ask her to back up. There we go. Very nice. That's a lot better backup. She's actually lifting those hind feet. That looks really good. And I'll ask her for a little bit more. Feed her back so she has to follow it. There we go. That worked pretty good. I think she understood that a little bit more. She's not just following the target. She knows she's gonna get food, so that worked pretty well for her. So we probably should work on this a few more times, to where she can back up really confidently over this pole. and some other poles, just different sizes and stuff. And then go back to like trying to work with the trailer. That kind of helps it builds on the trailering without actually being there. So,
Yeah, good
and
girl.
going forward over the poles is also good because she still has to use those hind feet.
Good
And it's just a
girl.
little bit
Hey,
easier.
come on.